My headset seems to
Good.
be connected. The hub said that. I'm sorry.
We're about to start it. No problem. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to No Budget Productions and NerdTube. God, even I slipped up there. It's just NerdTube actually, and we're here to talk about What If Episode 9. What if the Watcher broke his oath? I'm here with my usual cohorts. First of all, cousin Cheeto, how you doing?
Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah, and four, who's having internet issues. So how you doing?
I'm all right.
All right, so this was the final episode of season one of What If. I do believe we will be getting a second season. A little bit gutted, there was no real leadway to a second season, so to speak, by the end of this particular episode. But nevertheless, a second season has been confirmed. We also got Chadwick Boseman's pretty much last performance um, ever, and it was doing the voice work of T'Challa. And what else did we get here? Yes, we also got maybe a snippet of an episode that was supposed to be this season that will probably come out next season, and that was the Gamora being the new Thanos and Tony Stark being her sidekick, so to speak. I just want to quickly get onto that for a start before we start talking about this episode. Now, that whole Gamora and Tony Stark thing we saw, you guys recall, you know what I'm talking about, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, how it was supposed to happen or proceed was that when in this Avengers Assemble, when Tony Stark was taking that nuke and he went through that wormhole, when he sent the nuke off to destroy all those ships, and then he fell back, the wormhole closed on him before he fell through it, and so it's what if the wormhole closed on Tony Stark before he fell through it, so he's stuck in that part of the universe, so to speak, and it continues his adventures from there. So that's basically it. And he obviously meets up with Gamora, who probably ends up, hello there, Bandit, who probably ends up taking over at somehow, and maybe with the help of Tony Stark, ends up taking over from Thanos. And then we get that entire episode. But it's unfortunate, really, that we never got that episode. Why we never got that episode, I don't understand. It's not like we don't have to wait 6 weeks until the next fucking Marvel show. So they could have squeezed this episode in quite happily, but they didn't. And the rumors are that the episode will be put into next season for some reason. It's going to feel pretty weird, but I guess this is the second time Gamora's been dropped.
Ha 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 ha.
All right, fine, fair enough. Now, whilst I'm delaying to get Big Boss Man back, well, he is back now. I'm going to start off with you, Cheeto. What do you think of this episode overall before we start breaking it down?
I like this episode. Like last episode, it had its good moments and its bad moments. I don't like the fact that they shoehorn this Gamora thing in, and I really hope they don't Black Widow it, where it's like it's after the fact and now, hey, we're putting this episode in, but it should have been in last season. It's kind of like the Black Widow movie. It's like, well, they should have happened after Civil War, but it didn't. So I don't, I no, I didn't like that. And that was what I was afraid they were going to do. I was hoping what it was going to be was that's the Gamora from Ultron's universe, and it's also the Black Widow from Ultron's universe. And then they both kind of get pulled into the fight because they're like the last two major powers in the, I don't know, in that universe. Everything else has pretty much been wiped out. So I was hoping, and then he took over for she took on her father's armor to get revenge, but good storylines just can't tell themselves apparently. So but yeah, it was kind of, and the whole Iron Man, I didn't know what was going on there. They were melting down the
The
Infinity
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, besides those confusing bits, I mean, I thought it was pretty well done. I liked a lot of the fight sequences in this, especially in the beginning with Captain Carter doing the Winter Soldier intro. And I know Boss Man hates it because all it is Captain Carter doing what Captain America did.
I was thinking the same thing. I think I was like, Bossman's gonna hate this because it's just fucking.
So, but yeah, I mean, I like that in the beginning. I liked Captain Carter in this episode again. It gave her more character. I really hope we get to see more Captain Carter. Also, this episode leaves it open for more Killmonger in the future. Not obviously prime Killmonger, but there now that we're getting into the multiverse, you never know. This Killmonger could come back. And I think that's it. I mean, we've still got. I was wondering if anyone was going to actually die. Like completely die. And honestly,
I
don't
was
think
expecting some deaths. I was
and
expecting.
honestly, I don't think anyone did. Like, I mean, I know Killmonger and Ultron, Vision, and Zola are in the little mirror universe thing. They're
No,
contained.
Ultron's dead.
I guess he is. Yeah, he's just in the Vision body, and he's got like the Krang thing going on with the
Yeah, I'm
face in
thinking
the
that.
stomach.
Yeah,
So I think you're right. Okay, so Ultron's dead. Okay, so
but he's the bad guy. But out of the good guys, I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 deaths.
yeah,
Maybe Captain Carter, maybe T'Challa, maybe Black Widow, even.
I was expecting Doctor Strange. Like, I was expecting the evil Doctor Strange to make the big sacrifice. Because basically when Ultron said, all I have to do is kill you, and then their power goes, or something like that. And so I was expecting that to be like the big moment where Doctor Strange sacrifices himself, but then they defeat him with, obviously Black Widow and Captain Carter. By the way, shipping Captain Carter and Black Widow, not gonna lie, I felt the chemistry there, and I thought it was really good, actually. Yeah, I really thought that those two were kind of pushing for something, and I mean, honestly, I felt the chemistry there. Now maybe they're just friends, whatever. That's
I was
fine.
just thinking friends. Just to go on a little tangent here. Like, I remember, like, I saw something about how Bashir and O'Brien are more than just friends, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what?
No, they say O'Brien and Garrick are more than just friends.
Well, but not everything has to be like not everything has to be some sort of sexual bromance or girl. You can be good friends with people without wanting to fuck each other. You know what I mean? And
yeah, but there was that chemistry, is what I felt, though.
yeah, I'm sure there was, but like, people initially thought that Stephen and Natasha were going to have something going on, but that was never the case.
I never felt. See, that's the thing, though. I never felt that chemistry between them. I felt that friendship chemistry, like you're talking about, but like with Nat and Carter, I kind of felt something. I felt a little bit of that, like more of a romantic chemistry rather than.
I guess that's understandable, but once things get a bit more fleshed out, it could go either way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
because
I mean, it's not like I would be like, if they didn't do it, it's not like it'd be like, oh man, I wanted some girl on girl action. Like, it'd just be like, okay, so that's not where they're going with it, like. I don't say that because I want girl on girl. I say that because I want, like, I feel the chemistry between these two, and I feel like that there's actually like some. And I mean, maybe it's just the voice actors have really good chemistry, and I'm misreading it. I don't know. But
well, there were 2 Black Widows she was interacting with as well, by the way.
Yeah.
So she was different chemistry with different ones. But what about you, boss man? Before we start breaking this episode down, how did you feel about it?
It was more the same as what we got last week.
There were zombies in it, and I hated it.
That's that. I'm going to go into that in a minute. But the good parts. Let's go about the good parts first. I thought this episode overall was one of the best ones. I mean, I thought the last one was the best one so far. This one didn't quite top that because it felt a little bit like there's a little bit too much padding in trying to get rid of Ultron and all that stuff. But I admire with what they did and stuff like that. I like that. I like the fact that the Watcher basically did a massive rip-off of what's it called? Crisis of Infinite Earths level monitoring when they got all the heroes. I like that. I like the fact that they all had to come together and use their different abilities to defeat Ultron Vision, if that's what we're calling him now. I thought that was cool. The bits I didn't like, I hated the fact that zombies came in. I hate those.
They were brief.
They were literally in there for like
it was brief. It was brief.
It was just there so we could get zombie black red witch. That's Scarlet
Right.
Witch. Sorry.
Well, and I want to point out that in every single episode of this season got paid off in this episode. I want to clarify that. Because episode 3 was in this episode, and the zombie episode was in this episode in some fashion.
Okay. the other bad thing was felt that the action went on a little too long. I know this was a whole action episode. That's what they were going into. I get that, but I could use a little bit more drama, a little bit of like the different dynamics of these different people from different worlds trying to get to know each other. How to work as a team. I could have done more with that personally, but that's just me. So overall, I'd say not as good as last week, but still pretty decent. So there you go.
Yeah, fair enough. I personally thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I thought we got some payoffs during the course of this episode. I thought we got the Ultron we deserved in this episode too as well. Like Ultron is a massive villain in the Marvel comics, and like someone like him deserves a bit of longevity, and he never really got that. He was a one and done villain. So I'm glad that we kind of got a better Ultron overall. And Ultron, we could, James Spader did a great job voicing Ultron, but regarding what the character is, this was a much better Ultron in my opinion, because you couldn't fuck with him. And I like some of the aspects of this episode as well, which I will get into. But let's just start from the very beginning, shall we? So we've got the Watcher doing his little recruitment thing where he's going into all these different universes. We get obviously the Winter Soldier parallel, and while she's fighting Batroc, so he gets Captain Carter, gets Thor, gets Gamora, obviously from an episode we never saw. I like the way he said not you, Stark. I
love how Tony Stark wasn't even on the team either.
Yeah, so if he's not getting killed, he's getting fucking disowned. So that was pretty cool. They never recruited Black Widow, did they? She only ended up joining the team.
Yeah,
she's just in that universe in a way, I think.
Yeah. Now this is what I'll get to that a little bit later. I'm trying to remember who else. Like T'Challa. It was so good to see him back as Star-Lord, by the way. I love T'Challa as Star-Lord. That was really good. I like the way that he saved.
I like the fact he was saving Peter Quill from Eagle, though. Yeah,
me too. I'm very happy about that as well.
Well, that's kind of I think it was our Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 snippet of, because I think that's how what if Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was probably going to play out. Or maybe they'll touch on it next season,
And got also recruited Killmonger as well, who pretty much was fucking up Wakanda, which was interesting. And
by the way, this is what I had the biggest problem with.
No, Killmonger.
Because how much of a dumbass is the Watcher? This guy is literally like, one of the most manipulative guys, has a plan inside plans to what are like, destroying white society and stuff like that. And literally you put him in arm's reach of literally death, a weapon that can literally deal death with just a click of a finger. And you're not thinking that might lead to a bit of a problem.
I agree. I mean, he recruited a bigot. There's no doubt about that. But like at the time, there was a greater need for him than there was for what he stood for. More to do with his particular set of skills. I mean, he also recruited Stephen Strange, who was no angel either in this. So let's not forget that. No, he's not. But he destroyed an entire universe to get his pussy back.
And then Jesus appeared anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but nevertheless, we get this new team, and they are the Guardians of the Multiverse. I love that.
That's a dumb name.
And I like they had it in the pub.
I feel like they should have gone with the Illuminati. Truth be told, everybody would have screamed, "That's not the comic book Illuminati!" Yeah, well, fuck off, everybody.
You know how many conspiracy theories done by dickhead YouTubers that would have began if they called themselves the Illuminati, saying that Disney are really the Illuminati and all that sort of shit.
Well, no, there's an actual group in Marvel Comics.
Hey, that would have been interesting comments. That would have made a great Reddit thread.
But you that would have opened up a can of worms, in my opinion, which is why I think they didn't call themselves that. Plus, this is more associated with kind of stuff that we're familiar with. We've got a couple of guard. Well, we kind of got half a Guardian character in T'Challa because he's playing Star-Lord, even though he's not an original Guardians character. And we've got Gamora, who is an original Guardians character, but she is, basically the new Thanos. It was very weird. I like the whole change of things. I'm fine with this. It's very original in my opinion. But we got to get a team together. I love all that shit. But the funny thing is, the only person who wasn't on this team was the Watcher himself. And the Watcher, he should have been on that team because he can look after himself. If the Watcher was in that team, it would have been a lot easier for them because he was able to handle and pretty well a 6-stone fucking Ultron. And the fact that he didn't make his presence more felt other than just recruiting was a bit sad, as far as I was concerned. I was hoping the Watcher would be kicking some more ass, but he can kick ass. So, anyways.
Anyway, you're about to talk about one of the other problems I had with this episode,
which is
Thor being a complete total idiot.
But that's what he is, dude.
I'm about to say that's really what he. I mean, this Thor is definitely
naive. He's a man child.
Yeah, I mean, you're.
It's like
you get what you pay for with that.
There's a definitely cosmic robot. What can I do to get his attention? Lightning. It's like, look, and then all of a sudden, what happens? Wait, here he comes. It's like, God damn
he never had that big brother mantra put on him, because I still say that is one of the worst what if premises I've ever heard of in my entire life, and yes, that includes over Captain Carter, boss man. Fair enough. I totally understand, but in my opinion, I think he would have, even though he would have still been a quite reckless person, I think he would have still had a bit more responsibility installed in him because he was the elder brother, which is something you commonly see amongst elder brothers. So him not having that responsibility as an elder brother made him this carefree, childlike persona that we saw in this. He didn't have to look up to anybody, he didn't have to care for anybody. And that's what he ended up being, just somebody who was very, very careless, but he was still a good person in his heart, and that's why I don't mind about Thor, So I'm happy they kept the essence of Thor. He's just a bit more careless. That's all. I mean, like when you were screaming when you got picked up by the Watcher, I was fucking laughing my ass off. No, was I the only one? No,
not me. No, the Party Thor is the dumbest idea in the history of dumb ideas.
Look, for me, the only thing I don't like is the fact that he's worthy. Like you can't be him. Somebody like him shouldn't be worthy. So the fact, we discussed this last time, episode 7, regarding the hammer when it was put on top of Captain Marvel, who in my opinion is way more worthy than Party Thor. So I didn't like that enchantment spell. I wish the hammer never had the worthy enchantment spell on it, but obviously it did once, Carol Danvers wasn't able to get up from the hammer being on her chest. But, those nitpicks aside, I'm not too fussed about Party Thor too much. He's the comic relief.
There's also talk about whether or not anyone could pick up the Mjolnir before Thor 1, because in the comics, Thor, Thor was the only person who could ever pick up Mjolnir prior to him picking it up.
Prior to his dad. I mean, his dad picked
up.
Well,
and his dad, because his dad put the original enchantment on it back, But originally, the Mjolnir was made, and Thor and Odin made it so that only Thor could, only somebody worthy could lift it, and Thor was the first person to come along who could lift it. It's not like it was like in the comics, it wasn't at a certain point that the enchantment was made, because it was already done.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, but there's argument in the MCU that's not the case. The argument is that enchantment was done in the movie, so that anybody could have picked up Mjolnir prior to the enchantment being made, which, I mean, it tracks for what people. I mean, there's an argument on both sides that tracks.
No, I agree, and obviously, they have an opportunity to retcon certain things so they can give us a more definitive answer. Now these questions have been brought up. Whether they do that or not, I'm not so sure. But those are the sort of things that bug me a little bit. You got something to say, boss man?
No, because what I'm about to say will piss off Cheeto, so I'll
No,
No,
go
say
ahead, say it. I'll keep my
say
mouth
it. Say
shut.
it.
I hate Captain Carter's whole thing that she has to do exactly what bloody Captain America does. She can't be her own person. She can't be her own individual person who does her own individual adventures. She has to do everything that the first Avenger does. She has to do the Winter Soldier shit. It's like, no, she's a different person. She's Peggy Carter. She's not Steve Rogers.
We
Sorry.
knew that was
Sorry.
going to piss. We already knew that was going to piss you off when we saw the parallels to Winter Soldier.
Yeah, because
But
because she's Peggy Carter. She's not Steve Rogers.
But the moment she got picked out,
By the way, I have no problem with Peggy Carter herself being a hero. I have a problem with her. It's like it's a lazy writing that I can't stand. It's like
you make good arguments, but the moment she was picked by the Watcher to do this shit, it was totally different. You know, it was totally different from then on. You know, so you know, you did get what you did end up getting what you wanted to a degree. You know, obviously,
yeah,
unfortunately,
I thought she was awesome in the fight. By the way, I thought the way that she used the shield a little bit differently than Steve did, but she was totally badass with it. She was probably. I know we'll go into that when we talk about the actual fight.
Well, we have them all recruited now, and then they go to, I believe they go to the Black Widow, who's the only person left on the planet land, don't they? And that's where they have their little drinks and they're just creating their plans. And then Ultron comes along because they expect Ultron not to see them in that planet because it's the most useless planet for Ultron to visit. So he does come along.
No, I thought it was because Party Thor did the lightning and then
Party Thor did the lightning.
You see, and then he comes out of that like little like things down like. And by the way, he's sounded much more like Spader this week than he did last week, to be honest with you.
Well, just a tangent on this. A lot of people were complaining that because the guy who does the voice of Red Skull in Endgame and Infinity War was the same guy who done the voice of Ultron. So people are saying that because he didn't give a good account of James Spader, they're not happy for it. But personally, in my opinion, because he's in that Vision body, his voice sounds different. And that's how I'm looking at it. So that's why he doesn't sound like Spader.
I mean,
and that's
fine.
Well, let's Spader this week.
I don't think it sounds like Spader either, but it doesn't bug me. Like I prefer Spader over this person, but I don't get mad about it. Like I'm not like, oh, it sucks so bad. Oh, I'm gonna nerd out. Ugh.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. It has to really. I mean, for some people, it really affects them, but I wasn't bothered by it at all. But he comes into the planet, and then we get some really good set pieces. First of all, we get all these sort of enchantment spells put on all the Guardians of the Multiverse. They get all these enchantment spells put on them, which was nice to see. And by the way, before I cut to all of that, I think what I personally found a little bit disappointing was the lack of interaction between T'Challa, Star-Lord, and Killmonger.
I noticed that towards the end. I was the only time they ever had interaction. I mean, he said something about being cousins. He's like, "You're not my cousin," and that was like it.
Yeah, that was about it, really. And I would like to have seen a little bit more interaction, between them two, considering he's from Wakanda and stuff. And I thought T'Challa would have been more interested. In seeing what Wakanda's like on alternative universes. But okay, fair enough. We continue.
So sorry, not to cut you off, Sam, but I think the reason that was done is because I think that maybe Boseman didn't really put that much, vocals down for this particular episode before he passed. So maybe they had to cut around that, because sometimes that's what you find. If an actor passes away during a project. I
think he'd already
completed it. He completed it.
Sorry. I thought like he passed during the making of it or whatever it is.
No, I mean they could. I don't think they could have done not reshoots. I guess reshoots. I guess if you call it that. They couldn't. But I mean, I think they had done all the preliminary stuff before.
It's going to be interesting, but even though we won't get Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther anymore, I would still like to see his character in What If in some capacity. And obviously, we will need somebody else to voice him. I just hope they can do a good enough job.
Well, they should. Well, I'm going to ask a question now, and again, this is not. Do you think they should recast Black Panther in the Marvel Universe? I personally think they should, because the thing is that to have another character, another person do that role, I think they should get like a guy maybe who looks like him or sounds like him or just like who has
Denzel Washington's son. I forgot his name.
David Washington.
Yeah, I think he could do it.
I reckon so as well.
I'll be honest with you, boss man. At first, I wasn't up for it, but I think I was very emotional about it. But now time's gone by, I would recast. Honestly, it's not maybe ideal. It's not ideal, but I would do it. You know, because that's such is life. Such is how the world is. You know, it's not like Marvel hasn't recast before. They've done it before. I know it's a bigger deal this time around with Chadwick Boseman and all of that, but I would recast him.
Anyway, so anyway, they start having a fight with.
Oh, by the way, just to go on to that, just to make it kind of work, they could have Kelvin timelined it. They could get this particular Black Panther from an alternative universe. Like maybe they can still have T'Challa from our universe pass, but they can get another Black Panther from an alternative universe, and it just happens to look like Denzel's son. And bish bash bosh. There you go. You know what I mean?
Multiverse explained.
Yeah. How do you feel? By the way, how do you feel about that, Cheeto?
About what?
Now, it's been a while now since Boseman died.
I agree with you. I still feel like that they should honor the death of like Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther, but yeah, like if they were to bring in another actor, they need to, in my opinion, they need to multiverse it, you know, so he looks a little bit different. I don't want them to Don Cheadle it where it's like, you know, they have a quick coy line in Iron Man 2 is like, I'm here, let's do it, let's get over it. Like, you know, like I want them to honor the death of Chadwick Boseman by keeping that character dead. And then if they do happen to bring in a multiversal T'Challa, then fine. I'm not going to make any bones about that. I mean, Chadwick Boseman was still perfect in that role, but I mean, I wouldn't be hugely broken up if they like did multiversal shenanigans to recast him.
Yeah. I think that would be the best way to cover all the bases, you know?
Yeah. Honoring the original character as well as introducing a new version of T'Challa. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we have now the fight between Ultron and the Guardians, and we get the enchantment spells put on them, which is pretty cool. I wish in a way they kind of stayed glowy, but they didn't. I like the fact. By the way, the amount of times Captain Carter said "blimey" really pissed me off because
really,
yeah, it did.
I love it like when she's bouncing through the timeline, she's like bullet. Yeah, I'm like,
you say bollocks, you can say, but at the same time, you can say, you know. Like you don't. Blimey is like being surprised by something like this. She's already in it. You go, oh blimey! You won't say that when you're bouncing around in that. You know, trust. You don't want about it, boss man. You know.
Yeah.
You know, like she would say Jesus Christ or something like that. She wouldn't say fucking blimey. Like blimey is like when.
But can I ask you a question? Is this Hayley? Is Captain Carter or Hayley Atwell? Or
it's Hayley Atwell.
Doing the impression.
Yeah, no, it's Hayley Atwell.
Because I have a massive question about Hayley Atwell. She's
gorgeous, man. Yeah. So, but yeah, but you know, we go to they end up jumping through this portal. What did they end up going into this portal to? Another derelict.
No, you thought you forgot the main bit where they just throw fucking zombies at him.
Oh yes, yeah, I like.
Make sure you say that.
Yeah, they threw a fuck ton of zombies. I mean, they pretty much got almost.
I hate fucking zombies.
I know you did, but they got. This is the funny thing. I've never seen a zombie like have like an expression of what the fuck. Yeah, and we got that expression from Scarlet Witch's zombie. After she realized she couldn't defeat Ultron. And by the way, that
was always a slightly good bit about it.
Ultron at this point had already lost the Soul Stone, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, which was Sticky Fingers. I like these are the clever callbacks, you know, from the previous shows. Sticky Fingers gets the Soul Stone. Now Ultron's not as powerful as he can be, even though he's got, you know, probably the most powerful stones of all. But still.
I question why the Soul Stone? Is there a reason for that, or
I think he just grabbed what he could get?
No, they specifically said they needed the Soul Stone in their
I
plan.
think
They
this
said,
is
"I grabbed the Soul
might be pulled
Stone."
to it. I think
The what?
because I think that your consciousness is bound to it. I think because he's a robot. I think with that they
No,
can
that's the
get to
Mind
him,
Stone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Mind Stone. I wondered. I wasn't sure why the Soul Stone's particular. I know they needed a stone for the device, but why specifically the Soul Stone? I know in the movies they say the Soul Stone holds a very what is it, a special place in the Infinity Stones, but like I still don't understand why specifically the Soul
I think
Stone.
it can bring back life, but at the same time, that's not the purpose of it right there in that fight.
Yeah.
You know, it was unusual, but even regardless, whatever stone they took, if he didn't have all 6 of them, he wasn't as powerful as he can be. But I'm surprised he never
You
used
just
the
figure
Time
they would take
Stone.
the Power Stone because the Power Stone amplifies all the other stones. I just it was a weird choice, and I just didn't understand why. And if anyone knows why, leave a comment down below because I genuinely want to know why the Soul Stone. And if they said it and I missed it, my bad.
Yeah, I watched the episode twice, and I never picked up on that either. But he's been depowered now. They take the Soul Stone to the other dimension, the universe which Ultron initially came from and destroyed. They meet up with the Black Widow from there. She's the last human being. And this is the funny thing. I want to bring this up now. Amon Zola was turned into a fucking robot, but now he's back into a fucking arrowhead. How the fuck did that happen?
Well, he was always in that Arrowhead. They just downloaded. I think they copied him, copied him
So it was
into
a
the robot.
copy.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because he was the last copy of Zola, so they put him in the Arrow. Now, granted, I know why you mean that because you do see the green kind of drain into the the green.
Yeah,
drain
I
into
like that. I like that bit. But by the way, I like. I'm kind of divided. I'm kind of divided about the sort of like Matrix-esque weird fight thing that they had in in Ultron's body. I'm kind of divided about that. I mean, part of me thinks it's cool because it looked cool. The 2 different like robotic CGI heads like in his body. Do you know what bit I'm talking about?
You're talking about Zola versus
Ultron.
Ultron.
I don't know if that was a good design choice. It kind of looked cool, but I don't know if that was the right design choice for that.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think like with the story how it was supposed to be. I think it was just a way of defeating Ultron. I'm fine with it, to tell you the truth, and I'm fine with how they handled all of that. But the fight scene itself, when they were fighting Ultron, was fantastic. Some of the best stuff I've seen in the MCU just generally. I love the way we saw the Red Guardian shield and the Captain Carter shield.
Captain Carter shield.
Widow and Carter double teaming, and Widow's got skills. She can throw the shield like Captain Carter. She can hit bullseyes like fucking Hawkeye. When we saw her later on with the arrow and stuff. But it's good to see all of this stuff. Also, by the way, we got some foreshadowing of Killmonger's treachery in the pub earlier on when he saw one of the head of the Ultron robots, which was brought back by Thor from his dimension. So that was pretty cool. I
knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. As I said before, I thought that was the biggest dumbass move that the Fame Watch did to trust Killmonger.
He anticipated
it. Yeah.
I mean, they did say, Doctor Strange even said, you saw everything from, the Infinity Stone grinder not working down to he said, but, I see of everything that has been and everything that will be. And it's like, but you don't act like it. Like, I mean,
it's very wishy-washy.
Yeah, like when Hawkeye's looking through last week when Hawkeye's looking through the boxes, it's like, no, it's right there. Like if he knew everything that was going to happen, he'd know that he would eventually find it, or Black Widow would have found it. So it's like, why is he encouraging him when he knows what's going to happen?
So true.
Like exactly, that's a plot hole that I noticed while we were watching. So
there are a few actually. Yeah, it's a good one. I'm glad you brought it up. I did like the fact that they had this Infinity Stone Destroyer device, and it didn't work. I'm so happy it didn't work, because it would have been so easy for them to have this device that destroys the stones. But because the stones from different dimensions have different
Composition.
algorithms, or compositions or whatever, they weren't that easily destroyed by the device Gamora brought in. So I'm very happy about that. And eventually, it took a fucking Nazi to take fucking Zola down, which was interesting. And I like the way that Captain Carter remembered Armin Zola as well, which is pretty cool. Because she did beat him up for information in her dimension.
Yeah, I feel like, and not this is me nitpicking, but I really feel like that's a stretch. Like, I really feel like that's a little bit of a stretch. Seeing that image of I guess he's got a memorable face, but still, it's kind of like, okay.
Well, he was a top guy in Hydra, so
yeah, you might. As I said, it's just a nitpick.
And she's got that serum in there, so it makes her like just maybe better in every department, even memory.
Yeah, you're probably okay. You're probably right. Yeah, I was like sitting there going, wait a minute. I'm like, how does she like? I knew how she would have known him, but I'm like, how does she remember him? Like, yeah, but you're right. I guess the serum might do.
So, that. Anyways, Zola takes over Ultron, takes over his body. I like the fact that we see his head in the middle of the stomach of Ultron's old body. I don't want to mention Vision here because it was never Vision's body. It was just something he ended up taking over in Age of Ultron. It was supposed to be Ultron's body, but we see the head in that body and stuff like that. And then I was thinking to myself, what's going to happen here? Because you swap one evil bad guy for another, and then we see Killmonger doing his ultimate plan, which was to take the stones, but he only took 5 of them. He never took the stone from Ultron's head for some reason. He only took the 5, but nevertheless, he's in a powerful position. But then Zola, being the evil guy that he is, wants the stones back, and then they have a fight between the two of them, and that's where Stephen Strange comes in and realizes that he has to, enclose them in some sort of realm,
mirror universe.
So like a cage within a cage. And it puts them, in this sort of crystallized entity that they're stuck in, and they're basically battling each other forever for the stones. And
do you think if one of them gets the stones, you think they can get out?
I don't even know how it works. To tell you the truth, I can't.
It's that mirror universe.
I think it's one of those. Sorry.
It's the mirror universe. It's the one when Doctor Strange was. The ancient one was showing Doctor Strange where they train, like it's the actual mirror universe, because it's a complete, like it's a different, it's like within our universe, but it's kind of like the 5th dimension, like it's outside of our universe, but it's still in our universe per se, like a little bit. So
well, he made it into some sort of like prison enclosure, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a circle, but
I'm not sure how it was. It's almost like it's frozen. Go on.
Well, because it reminded me of there's a Greek story, and I know that you're going to see it's a bit tangential, of a guy who has to push a rock up the hill for eternity. He goes back down. He has to push it up. I think it's one of those things. It's one of those things where nobody can win because it's an eternal battle between these two guys who both want to win, and they're locked permanently in that. So it's the same sort of thing of. They're locked there for eternity, so I don't think there's ever going to be quote unquote a winner. I've seen this
sort of thing happen twice, boss man. I've seen this sort of thing happen on 2 occasions. Once was an episode of TOS, where these 2 guys were ended up fighting in this sort of rift for eternity, and another one was on an episode of Spider-Man, where Spider-Man got Captain America to help him. And this was Captain America from the 40s, and then but by doing so, Red Skull apparently Red Skull and Captain America have been fighting each other in this rift. But by taking Captain America out, Red Skull had been free as well. But then they end up getting back into the rift again and just fighting each other for eternity. And that kind of reminded me of that. Anyway, let me see what you got.
I was bringing up that mirror universe of like that's where they're contained in.
You know, as long as Doctor Strange Supreme can manipulate the events of what they're doing by making sure neither of them get the stones, then
And I like the fact that he said that you have to be watching over them to make sure that they're forever. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, I like
Yeah.
Doctor Strange. He's like, yeah, what else am I gonna do? He like, I don't know.
he's not the same Doctor Strange. You have to understand he's got like a billion different fucking creatures inside him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so he's a whole bunch of personalities and stuff, and he's a very twisted Doctor Strange. He's not like people called him evil Doctor Strange. That was a disservice. He's misguided. You know,
I didn't
because
consider him evil. I just considered him like like
misguided.
selfish Doctor Strange.
Well, it wasn't until he lost everything and destroyed everything that he realized what he'd done. So that's why he wasn't tempted by the stones when Killmonger mentioned, you know, what he was going to do. But yeah, it was a good way to end the episode regarding the stones, and because you can't have Armin Zola as the fucking hero. No way. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be the man who saves it for everyone, this fucking Nazi. So this was a good thing to do because Killmonger is not a hero either, so they couldn't make him heroic. And this was a good way of ending it. Very clever. I approve of what happened here, in my opinion. And so the multiverse is saved, and then the people who involved in this, they will remember what they did. I'm glad the fact that they don't, you know, it's not like the Watcher was going to tell them, look, you're going to forget everything that happened. They will remember what happened, just that nobody else could appreciate what they just done for the universe, because they pretty much saved the entire multiverse universe, and no one will ever know this. But it was a nice touch by the Watcher to send Natasha Romanoff from the destroyed Ultron universe to episode 3, where she was dead in that universe, to replace that one, which was a nice little touch. And you know,
I thought it was kind of stupid that Nick Fury's like,
yes,
you're not my Natasha, but you got the same spirit. I'm like, okay, come on.
Like, shut the fuck up, Nick. I think.
Yeah, I was like, okay, if you're gonna do that, Nick needs to be cautious, but yet like, well, I'll deal with you. Like, he should have been like, it's like, I don't know who you are, but I'll deal with you later. If you're here to help, you know, and that's what they should have. That's what I expected.
Personally, I'm kind of surprised that once they had Captain Marvel on their team, she makes up for like 5 or 6 Avengers.
Yeah.
So
I mean, really, because I think the Avengers in that time would have been Captain America, Captain Marvel, and Nick Fury.
I didn't even look at Nick Fury as an Avenger.
I know, but he was there fighting. Who else? There was maybe one other person there. I don't remember who else was there.
No, they're all dead.
Okay.
Yeah, the 6
I love the fact that he takes Black Widow to a universe where that Black Widow had died. And she gets to like basically
talking about it for about 5 minutes.
Oh, sorry.
That's exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah, but I like that. That's a smart move.
Yeah, I like how he's like the door is the door is more of a metaphor anyway, and then he just like it just flashes the whole thing.
Because unfortunately for that universe, you probably wouldn't get Scott Lang as Ant-Man. But you know, Hawkeye's dead, Hulk's dead, Thor's dead, Iron Man's dead. That's 4 of them. Black Widow's dead. That's 5 of them. That just leaves Captain America. Because there was only 6 Avengers in Avengers Assemble. So that only leaves them, and then obviously
Black Panther. Technically, he wouldn't have been an Avenger, but he would have had the. It's inferred that he had the Black Panther like moniker for a while when we came to Civil War. So he might have been Black Panther at that point.
Yeah, but they haven't recruited him. I mean, obviously they would need him. They'll need him, but Captain Marvel was like so fucking OP. Yeah,
you don't even need anybody else besides I mean, seriously, like, and the problem is that Captain Marvel and Captain America are so alike. It's like not powers, but like personality wise, it's almost like that's a bit too much.
No, I think Captain Marvel's got a lot of attitude. Yeah, I mean, she's not as easygoing. It would take a lot to get Steve Rogers angry at you or upset with you or want to fight you. I think Captain Marvel blew up a jukebox to prove her powers. Steve Rogers wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? He wouldn't damage somebody's property like that. You know, so Steve Rogers is way too nice. You know, he's overly nice. But nevertheless, I was very happy with the show overall. You know, I'm apart from the fact that we never got the Gamora Tony Stark episode. You know, it would be nice to have a Tony Stark episode where he's not fucking dead, you know, or about to be killed or something like that. He died in 4 fucking episodes. So
yep,
that's
good. I don't like Tony Stark that much.
I know. I like I like the meme your friend Ben sent. You know, what if Tony Stark survived 1 episode? Right. Well, we might have got that if we got the Gamora episode. I think we. Do you understand why we didn't get that episode? Because I don't.
I have not heard why. Maybe production issues, but
I think it's just that they slightly hard. I think they just want to do it next season. I think I don't know.
Yeah, but it just makes this episode a bit weird because you could tell that something was missing. You know what I mean? You could tell something was missing by
that's what I was hoping they wouldn't do. But I mean, I don't know. Post production's a bitch sometimes.
Yeah, I guess. But anyway, but what if felt like it was made ages ago? Like I remember seeing trailers for it and clips of it, like over a year ago. Prior to its release. So I'm just like I said before, like there's 6 weeks now. We're gonna have to wait until Hawkeye.
It's nice to have a break, man. We've been running we've been running hard for the past 9 weeks.
Yeah.
So should we give people our overall thoughts on the season? Because I have thoughts.
I thought. I mean, personally, I thought Captain Carter wasn't necessarily the best start, but it wasn't the worst. I agree with you the fact that it was too similar to First Avenger, but then after that, you know, the game kind of changed. You know, the T'Challa Star-Lord was a fantastic episode. I thought the Avengers being all killed off was another fantastic episode as well. You know, like it was a whodunit. Stephen Strange turning into a dark version of himself, fighting a good version of himself, kind of reminded me of that fight scene from Superman 3, where they were in the car construction yard, whatever, and all of that. I thought that was a good. Yeah, the scrapyard. I thought that was a good episode. Episode 5 was. What was episode 5? The zombies. Another good episode.
Zombies.
I knew you didn't like that. But I thought there were some good moments. I like the way Vision kind of reminded me of those weirdos you find in zombie movies who still loves their wife or still loves their daughter, but they turn into a zombie, so they're feeding their their kid or their wife, whatever's human beings, because they still love them and stuff, but they become deranged by that. But I like the way that Vision got his shit together. Episode 6 was episode
Killmonger.
6, Killmonger. Yeah, another superb episode in my opinion. Like Killmonger being like the chess master, not just a brute force, but actually being very intelligent with his manipulation was great. And then we got Party 4, which led us to Ultron. Yeah, I like it all. I will give this. I'll give this a very, very good 8 out of 10. I'm very happy with this. I can't wait for the next season. Whether this has a larger impact on the MCU in the future, I don't know. But so far, 8 out of 10 for me. What about you, boss man?
First one, I didn't care for too much because it was just basically a rip-off of First Adventure. Second one, I liked a little bit more with. We'll go deal with you in a bit, Cheeto. Second one with Star-Lord as Killmonger with T'Challa, I thought was a lot better. It was good to hear Chaz Whitmore's went back.
Mm-hmm.
Third one reminded me too much of the Incredible Hulk film, which is like, oh, really. The fourth one, I really liked. I'm trying to remember what the fourth one was now.
Stephen Strange.
It was the thing, wasn't it? Yeah, Stephen Strange. I really like that. The fifth one, the fifth one, I hate fucking zombies. They are who wants to dance? I want to dance the night away of enemies, and I stand by that comment. They're great the first time, but the 1,000th time, no. 6, Killmonger, I really like that one. 7th one, Reported Thor, yeah. And then 8th and 9th one, yeah, they're both really good episodes, really like that. Overall, I think this was a very up and down, very uneven series. There were some good episodes, some really bad episodes, and I thought the really bad episodes kind of let the side down a little bit. It was kind of mediocre, and I don't mean bad, I just mean like, the bad episodes sort of undercut the really good episodes. And by the way, Marvel, do not do more zombies. I hate zombies. Zombies ruin your shit. Just telling you. That's my review. Overall score, I'll give you a very nice 7. There you go. I'll be generous. I'll be nice and say 7. But I'm ducking you actually 6.5 because on Cheeto and zombies are in it. There you go. I'm ducking half a point for that.
Before I pass on to Cheeto, I want to give this episode 8 out of 10. I'm giving the season also 8 out of 10. Cheeto.
No. This episode was an 8. Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Cheeto?
I mean, I liked. There was only one episode of this whole season that I wasn't fond of, and that was episode 7. And that one even made me laugh, but I still just the premise of it and the catalyst of it was so stupid. Party Thor, and Party Thor is just not, to me, is not different enough from regular Thor, in my opinion, to make an actual what if difference. Okay, you can have a technical what if with Party Thor, but is it worth it? No. They just wanted to have Thor in here and Chris Hemsworth voicing Thor. Honestly, I would be like, what if Odin, I would do one what if Odin never woke up from the Odin sleep or something like that. And then Thor had to be King of Asgard, for a while. That would be, so you'd have a much older and wiser Thor, but no, they had to have Party Thor. Episode 1, I really liked. Episode 2 was pretty good. Episode 3 was okay. 4 was, what was that one again? I'm losing it.
Stephen Strange.
That one was good. 5 was good. By the way, Boss Man, I don't love zombies. I just don't understand your hate for them. If they're used well, in certain Resident Evil games or certain movies, or even this What If they're used well, I don't understand your issue. Now there's, even in Shaun of the Dead, they use zombies well.
You see Shaun of the Dead?
I'll give you. All right, but when we've seen 1,000 properties in the last 20 years, all zombies, it was pretty easy when we got The Walking Dead, and we had 20 days late. Was it 48 days later?
Yeah, we've had Night of the Living Dead and all that shit.
But then it just got too much to do with Dying Light, and then it.
But here's the thing: we've got an oversaturation of superhero movies, and on that same logic, you should hate superhero movies because we've had a ton of superhero movies since 2000.
But zombies are one type of enemy. Superheroes can be anything.
Yeah, so
superheroes could
these zombies in this series were a little bit more were different than zombies from other movies.
Yeah, for me, if
it's done well, then I could deal with that.
That's exactly it, boss man. I don't care. Sometimes it's very hard to be original, but do they do it well? That's all I care about. You could even be totally unoriginal and everything, but if you give us if you entertain me, then I'm happy. And I think one of the things I didn't like was that we never got to see what I assumed would be Spider-Man being the Sorcerer Supreme. Oh man, I think that could have been a good episode, and I think there's a possibility.
Would you reckon Tom Holland would have done that?
Well, Tom Holland never voiced.
Tom Holland would have done that.
Tom Holland never voiced Spider-Man in this.
Yeah, there was a different actor doing Tom Holland.
Yeah,
or Spider-Man.
But they can still do this with the zombie episode with in season 2 if they do the continuation on that. And by the way, zombie Thanos, they kind of left that one in the air a little bit.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they left that. I was expecting zombie Thanos to come through and start fighting Ultron when when all the zombies were coming through, but they kind of left that wide open. I mean, they did leave. I mean, Scarlet Witch was there, which was cool because we know she's powerful. But I mean, in front of 5 Infinity Stones, I mean, he
destroyed that whole planet to kill her. He destroyed the entire Earth to kill her.
But here's the thing, though: she's already dead. So it's if she wasn't obliterated, she probably still, even if she lost a limb or two, she still could come after him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but she was obliterated.
Yeah, she was obliterated.
But I like I said, it was really funny seeing her have a what the fuck sort of look on her face.
Yeah,
when she realized she couldn't defeat Ultron.
Because as soon as Scarlet Witch showed up, like I saw the zombies, and for some reason I didn't think of Scarlet Witch, but I saw all the zombies, and then all of a sudden I saw like Scarlet Witch in front of them, and I'm like, oh, I was like, oh shit. But then yeah, I mean, then he just obliterated the planet, and I'm like, oh come on, like that's worse than Thanos' rain fire. Get out of here. So anyway,
by the way, I did have hardcore Galactus vibes when his head appeared in the scene with Goat. Where so I was going. I always like, is that Galactus? I was like, no, it's not Galactus.
Well, Galactus
I keep on having is that Galactus thing.
So episode 6, which was Killmonger, that was a pretty good episode. I like that one. Episode 7 then was Party Thor. As I said, there were some funny parts to it, but that's it for me. And then
I think the change of pace for comedy was good.
I would definitely give those 8 out of 10s. Like, I mean, both episodes were really good in my opinion. You're right; they definitely gave a better Ultron than what we got. I still liked Ultron in Age of Ultron, but I feel like we did get a superior Ultron.
The Ultron we deserved.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that you couldn't get Spader in to do the voice for it.
It is a shame.
Well,
I really would love to hear Spader again,
but say that I will give credit to the guy. In the second episode, he was a lot better doing the James Spader voice than he was in the first episode.
I give credit to the Black Widow actress, because that's not Scarlett Johansson doing Black Widow, but she's at those times when she sounded so like ScarJo that I couldn't tell. You know, I forgot.
Yeah, she sounded. I looked up the actress in episode 3. I looked at she. I'm trying to remember what she looks like, but I looked her up like in episode 3, and she does a really good job.
Exactly. So, yeah, props to a lot of these actors. You know, like we won't get Chadwick Boseman back in the future, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with T'Challa in the What If saga. I really, really want him back. If they don't ever bring him back in live action, please keep him in the What If saga. Please, you know, in any capacity. I know,
T'Challa
because in my opinion, I don't think we'll see him back in live action, even though all 3 of us want him back in with a different actor, and obviously with our multiverse thing. I mean, there's still a possibility, by the way. Never say never, but for now, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. But we could always have him back in What If. Just need somebody else to voice him. And I hope people don't lose their shit over that.
I really hope so too. I mean, we really need to. I mean, if they choose to honor his, and as I said, there's a way to bring back the character of T'Challa without tarnishing Chadwick Boseman's impact on it.
Can I do a suggestion? Sorry, guys. I'm just. This is
Make
a
him
suggestion
a zombie.
again. You might. No. I've got a suggestion. It's actually using a UK idea. That maybe like he gets shot and he has to go into this like weird cocoon.
No,
and what he does is like he regenerates him and his face changes and he becomes something else. So like, do you like Doctor Who where his face changes? No, but I'm saying that I saw an idea.
No.
Look,
and then Apocalypse is gonna pop out. What the fuck, dude?
Look. For a start, What If had different actors playing characters, you know, who weren't able to, do their roles in animated form. Tom Holland didn't come back. Scarlett Johansson didn't come back. So I have no problem with somebody else doing the voice of T'Challa, as long as they do a good impersonation. That's all that I care about, because it's been set already. So if you can match it, and you know, Chadwick Boseman himself hasn't got an African accent; he's an American, so he done an impersonation. So should somebody else, and yeah, I very much look forward to the next season.
So, what ideas would you like to see next season? And I've got one. Oh, I've got a couple actually, but I
want to see some of the storylines continue. I want to see more of I can't think of anything new at the moment. I will try to when you guys give us your versions, but I would like to see. Like we saw in the post-credit scene, um, with Captain Carter and Steve Rogers and in the Ironmonger suit or whatever. The Hydra Buster. I apologize. I'd like to see more of Star Lord, T'Challa Star Lord. I really want to see more of that. I thoroughly enjoyed T'Challa Star Lord more than I do Peter Quill Star Lord, and I want to see Zombie Thanos for sure. That would be nice. And maybe I would like to see Nick Fury recruit a whole bunch of new Avengers from episode 3 as well.
What if for next season they did? You want them to do more stories of What If, or do you want to have stories following this cast of characters going through the
Both.
multiverse, taking care of big problems like Ultrons and
I don't know. Like for a start, we're going to be getting new movies, so like maybe the Eternals will be in a What If episode in the future. For instance, Shang-Chi will be in a What If episode in the future.
What if Iron Man 3 was good?
So
I've got a couple of what ifs. First one, and this is one that we should have had 10 years ago, but I reckon they could get this answer. Tim Blake Nelson becomes the lead. What if Tim Blake Nelson was able to become the leader?
Who?
Tim Blake Nelson.
Who the fuck is that?
Tim Blake Nelson, the guy who plays the leader in the Incredible Hulk, though.
Oh, when you say that, the leader of Incredible Hulk, yeah, well, I wouldn't mind them, resurrecting that. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind them doing, like, regarding Red Hulk. I would prefer that in What If than in the MCU, just generally. I think they could do Red Hulk, What If. So what if Thunderbolt Ross became Red Hulk? That for me works more than it would work in the MCU. I don't know about you guys.
And also, what if MODOK took over AIM? Because the thing is that AIM ended with. So I think AIM was it the second Iron Man or third one? I think it's the
third Iron Man.
Third one. Is it third one? So instead of doing that flaming, whatever that flaming exploding person bomb thing that they did. I the thing instead of that, like they do experiment on one of those people that they want to explode, and instead of to that, it's into MODOK.
What if
MODOK?
What if the Mandarin was done right? That would be one.
Like, I got one. Like, we got Captain Proton now as well, haven't we? So I'm thinking maybe what if Wanda's Higgs bubble devoured the Earth? The whole Earth. That would have been a good one, because she was expanding it at one point, and her powers are fucking phenomenal. What if Agatha Harkness beat?
What if the twins survived?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Or what if the twins survived WandaVision?
What if Falcon never took up the mantle of Captain America?
Yep.
I
mean, you could do that on the Disney Plus shows, but I'd want them to wait a while before they did that.
Yeah. I'd rather the focus on like the film stuff. And Marvel, don't do what you did with Captain Carter and Fabian. I think where it's just like, oh, they're just going to do the same film. No, that character would make different choices than that character that they taken over.
Marvel, I think you did a pretty good job with Captain Carter. Don't listen to this shit stain down below me.
Yeah. I'm happy with it, and I want to see a live action version.
No, this doesn't get to say that. Well, she's a very talented and very gorgeous actress. It's just the right.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so like we have our wants and needs of what if in the future, and we all seem to be very satisfied with the show overall. Now, next on the agenda is Hawkeye, and that's not for a few more weeks.
What did you say? 6 weeks away? Didn't you say?
6 weeks away, and then
the week of Thanksgiving is when
I don't know how many episodes we're going to get of Hawkeye.
I have no idea. I think I heard either 6 or 8, but I think 6. I think it's going to be like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think it's going to be like longer episodes, but you know,
Fair enough.
like
Well,
less
that's gonna roll into the Book of Boba Fett, which will be coming out at the end of the year. It's just after Christmas, unfortunately. Haven't seen any trailers of that yet. You would have thought something like that would be available soon because they have finished filming it. So, yeah, Book of Boba Fett.
Well, and they're filming Mandalorian season 3 right now. They just started
Are they?
production. They just started production.
Awesome. So that will probably come out at the end of next year.
Well, Disney Plus is finally getting their shit together because I mean, remember for the longest time we had nothing on Disney Plus that was new. Like it was all, and I get the pandemic delayed things a bit, but even before then, like they had nothing. Like
I can
weird.
agree. I mean, like Star Wars Visions might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it was a pleasant surprise that we got something that we didn't realize, which was not on the schedule of stuff that we were expecting. And that's the sort of shit I want to see from them. I want to see more stuff. There's also that Why the Last Man. I believe that's actually Disney Plus. I thought that was Netflix, but it's actually Disney Plus.
Well, I've been watching it on unconventional means, I should say.
It's actually on Disney Plus. You don't need to.
I've been trying to get on Disney Plus because I can't seem to find.
It's like I've been trying to hack accounts. I'm trying to get on Disney Plus.
Yeah, well, if you got a VPN thingy, Bobby, do the VPN job thingy, Bob. That might work. Yeah, it might be a VPN thing. But yeah, it's a Disney Plus thing as well, and Free Guys on Disney Plus. Have you guys seen that yet?
I have not, but I've seen.
It's all right.
Of it.
It's all right. It's all right. Better than I expected. You know, I thought it would be Ryan Reynolds bollocks, but it's a lot better than I expected, and that can only be a good thing in my opinion. So I recommend it. So yeah, and then there are a couple of moments where you think to yourself, "Oh, that's why this is on Disney Plus." You know what I mean? I won't spoil them for you, but you'll know what I mean when you see him. All right. Okay, so I guess that's it. We've finished this fantastic show. I'm actually really heartbroken that it's over. There's been a lot of shows on this from the Marvel from the MCU on Disney Plus, and this one and possibly Loki have been two of my favorites. And, I like them all. I've enjoyed WandaVision. I've enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I've enjoyed all of them so far.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been one like Marvel wise. I don't think there's been one that I haven't enjoyed. I mean, I enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier probably above all others. I know everyone's like, "Oh, Loki." I'm like, I liked Loki. Don't get me wrong, but I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier better. So.
I just like the fact that Sam and Bucky became friends. Like they weren't like friends.
They weren't just associates.
I would say the most interesting thing about I'd say the most interesting thing about Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't Falcon and the Winter Soldier though. It was Captain what's his face?
U.S. agent.
The agent. Yeah,
he was
U.S. agent. Yeah,
was Captain America. He was Captain America.
Yeah, John Walker.
Until episode 5.
He was the most interesting character in that film. I mean, but the thing is, the film sucked.
I think Sam and Bucky's interactions and their friendship, and I think that was still very prevalent in that show.
For me as well, also seeing Bucky Barnes becoming Bucky Barnes again. Like you saw when he went to Sam's boat party, like he was like mucking about with the kids and chatting to Sam's girlfriend, Sam's sister, who will probably be his girlfriend, and I really genuinely felt like he was back to himself again. Finally, he was the Bucky Barnes before he fell off the train.
And those moments in Wakanda when like him and Okoye were working on getting that programming out, like those were some good moments. All those moments, yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing Winter Soldier. Like he's done. He's done. I want Winter Soldier in the rearview mirror. I want James Buchanan, Bucky fucking Barnes back, and I want to see this character now going forward. Yeah,
it's gonna be now. It's gonna be Captain America and Bucky Barnes.
Yeah, that's how it should have ended. By the way, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have ended Captain America and the Winter Soldier. It should have ended Captain America and Bucky Barnes because, as far as I was concerned, the moment he was no longer brainwashed, he was not the Winter Soldier anymore. He was trying to find himself, but with the brainwashing out of his system, he was just trying to become his old self again, and he became that person by the end of the season.
Okay, but the thing is, right? Can I just say that the villain sucked?
Oh, you mean the
I
flag?
didn't
The
think
flag.
they were that bad.
was-
I
was-
mean,
was-
Flag
granted, they
Smasher.
weren't.
The
They weren't
flag
like-
slashes, but I mean, nothing against the actress who plays the main villain. Which I'm sure she's very talented. It's just that she kept on reading her lines like this. I am a villain, and I will do this because I need to, despite everything that they are doing to prove me otherwise. It's like, oh, come on.
You know what it is as well. Like there was a virus storyline, and you can tell that they did some serious editing to get rid of that. And at the same time, they tried to. She was sympathetic at first, but then they made her not turn out to be. And also, we had Sharon Carter as well being, turning heel as well, which is
turning heel.
Which is going to be very interesting to see too in the future. And I personally want to see Sharon Carter in. I would love to see Sharon Carter and Hawkeye in some capacity. I mean, I doubt we'll see that happen.
What I loved was the villain in Loki, which was He Who Remains. That was awesome. It was just like, I just love the fact that you just like, you think he's not very threatening. It's just like oh, come. It's just like,
Well, that was basically our intro to Kang. Like that, literally the next big baddie of the MCU was introduced in Loki last episode.
Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a version of Kang the Conqueror. So he even said, and I mean, the images and imagery and everything. So we got that was pretty big. Don't get me wrong. The end of Loki was pretty impactful to the MCU at this point because now all of a sudden we've got eyeballs on Kang. Like that was our Thanos turning around at the end of Avengers moment. It just drawn out through a whole episode.
I just hope he's not a one and done villain because I do feel that Ant-Man 3 is going to be a time travel movie with Kang being there.
It's going to be time travel. I think they're talking about the quantum realm more than so. But I feel like they're going to encounter
the quantum realm
of Kang in there. But
it's going to lead to time travel though because I mean obviously Loki proved this differently, but in that universe, you have to time travel. You have to shrink yourself down.
No. Okay. So here's the thing with the time travel in there. They used the quantum realm as a conduit for time travel. It's not like the be all end all of all time travel. So the TVA, which is obviously superior technology, uses time travel differently. The Avengers, it's kind of like, we just kind of stumbled on. It's like getting to the moon by accidentally wandering into a rocket and getting shot at the moon, and they barely had an understanding of it, and it's kind of like a conduit that they happened to come across to do time travel. So, but no, the quantum realm is not the be all end all of time travel.
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff they need to start laying the foundations for, in my opinion. We should be seeing some snippets of Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk as well when it comes to the television shows. I feel like they've been made or they're getting made.
Ms. Marvel is in post-production. She-Hulk is in, I think, filming right now. I think, I'm trying to remember. What else is there? There's some other stuff that's in pre-production and filming. Moon Knight just finished filming, so they're technically in post-production. Yeah, they're in post-production. And then I think they're gearing up for Armor Wars or Iron Man.
That one. I want Armor Wars before the end of 2022.
Probably. I think it will be closer to the end of 2022. Also, Ironheart's going to show up, and I don't know if this is before or after her series, but Ironheart's supposed to show up in Black Panther 2. Like the actress who plays Ironheart.
I really, really want the Friday AI to be in Rhodey's suit. I really hope they make that happen. I tweeted that to Don Cheadle. I told him in a tweet, please put Friday's AI in your fucking suit, mate. Hopefully they'll take that on board, because I feel like Don Cheadle flying around in this suit, having somebody to talk to, like,
I think
personally,
they have to at this point.
yeah.
He has to have somebody to bounce off of. Every time before, he just bounced off of like either Iron Man or Nebula, because in the end game. But like, I feel like in a show, he's going to have somebody to bounce off of, and a Friday AI is probably a good idea.
Also, now we've had like the first season of a bunch of shit this year. Like, we've seen White Vision. I expect White Vision to show up in one of these other shows, like Armor Wars. I expect him to see broke his oatmeal, and I expect to see him in Armor Wars. I would love to see Sharon Carter in Armor Wars. If we don't, I doubt we'll see her in Hawkeye. I very much doubt that.
When does She-Hulk come out? Is that next year?
I would say maybe
midway next year. I would say, because they're in post production right now.
Because I know they're doing production on it, because the actress who's playing Titania in it is like getting in real shape for it. I mean, like, because she's quite tall anyway, but
All right then. Well, listen, guys. I think we've gone on long enough.
Man, I could take this whole end part and just put it into like a separate video.
Yeah. So look who decided to show up. Naughty girl.
Yeah, she has kind of left you alone a lot. I haven't seen her much.
Yeah, she was up in her boxes, building a nest or something. In it, sweetie. Look how she pops her head. All right, good. Time to go to bed. All right, and I'm going to go to bed too. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment to NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel you never fucking heard of, and we'll see you cunts later. Live long and prosper, motherfuckers.